Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case in Pima County, Arizona. And just when you think the sheriff couldn't get any more embarrassing, wait till you hear this. A lot to talk about.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff. Just the real that we trust, hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff. Just the real that we trust, hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff. Just the real that we trust, hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is April 4th, 2026. It is currently 6:40 p.m. in the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour. Hello, beautiful pearls. Good to see you all. We're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, and my God, guys, Lord have mercy. If I've this sheriff in the news again, in the news again, very embarrassing, in my opinion, what he was caught with, and we're going to get to it in just a moment. This is kind of a little bit of an unexpected live. I didn't get to plan it, so probably a lot of notifications didn't go out, but we're here anyways. Before we get started, if you would do me a big favor and please hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would share the live out, hit the thumbs up, all of that good stuff makes a world of difference. Also, if you would consider hyping this video after the live stream, you get 3 a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. And greatly appreciate that as well. Like, what was that? I was so Miss Eureka, like, does his family still like him? I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Casey, Bonkers, good to see you. Pam, Mobby, good to see you. Shari, Jennifer, Miss Leslie, always keeping it real. Miss Eureka, Jennifer, good to see you, hun. Wendy, Mish, good to see you, honey. Bonkers, hello. Wendy, Susan, Christy, hello. Hey, Kim, good to see you, hun. Miss Susan, hello. Casey, bonjour. Connie, hello. Good to see everyone as y'all are rolling in here. So, get this. Really bad. Really bad. Christopher Nanos, also known as, I call him Sheriff Doofy, went to the airport and was caught in his luggage by TSA with a pew-pew. With a pew-pew. Loaded in his luggage. This is someone in law enforcement. And then also report Sheriff Nanos improperly used position resources in political foes. Suspension is the headlines. What the what? Who does he think he is? I know. Hey, Jinja. Got to switch. You're good. I didn't give much of a. I came live pretty quickly after I scheduled it, like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So, yeah. It's bad. Really bad. So, here we go. Let's get on it. Several different things in today's live stream. Also, FBI's new lead in Nancy Guthrie case involves traceable Bitcoin ransom demands. Going to cover some of that as well. Let me find it. What did I do with it? Hold on one second. For me. Here we go. Sorry, guys, it didn't actually pull up. 1 second. All right. Coming from KRCRTV. They are the ones that's published this. Sheriff leading Guthrie case under fire after TSA finds loaded GUN in carry-on. A sheriff already facing scrutiny over his handling of the ongoing Nancy Guthrie case brought a loaded pew pew to the airport security checkpoint, according to reports. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, who has been leading the investigation into the disappearance of 84-year-old, of course, Nancy Guthrie, was stopped by Transportation Security Administration, TSA, obviously, agents after a loaded GUN was discovered on his carry-on. Carry on. Not stowing it is that's one thing. On his carry-on, and it was loaded. Mother chicken, loaded. He is, Jennifer. He is. At the Tucson International Airport. Oh, wonder if he's going on vacation. Do you think he's going on vacation? Might as well. Might as well. That's what I was wondering. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wondering. Is he going on vacation here? Craziness. But this was this was in 2024. This wasn't recently. Okay, I need to fix that part. So I digress. It was in 2024. Still, regardless, citing an incident report, the media outlet said the GUN contained multiple rounds of ammunition and was not declared before entering the checkpoint on November 6, 2024. The sheriff was not charged, but he was required to secure the pew pew before continuing his travel, according to the report. Now, what if that would have been you or I? If that would have been you or I, and we were getting on a airplane with a loaded, our ass would be grass. Exactly, but because he's the old sheriff, guess not. Guess not him. He just had to put it away. The sheriff missed his flight, stowed the firearm in his vehicle, and flew out later, the outlet noted. The incident adds to the mounting criticism surrounding Nanos amid the Guthrie investigation, which began after the woman was reported missing in early February and is believed to have been abducted from her Tucson home. The case has drawn national attention and remains unsolved, with no suspects identified, and authorities continue to pursue leads. Guthrie is the mother of the Today Show host. Savannah Guthrie. Nanos has also faced separate allegations related to his conduct in office, including claims of misconduct, which we're going to get to next, of political retaliation, further intensifying scrutiny from his local office and the public. Officials have not indicated whether the airport incident will result in any disciplinary action. Well, damn, it was 2024. Come on now. Apparently not, it seems. You know? Okay. So yeah, with the pew pew. Now, get this. Get this. There are reports out from the Tucson.com that is saying, look at this. Report: Sheriff Nanos improperly used position and resources in political foes suspension. The Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos used his position and department resources, quote, for political gain, end quote, when he disciplined a commander and political rival just 3 weeks before the general election in 2024. According to the report summary from a firm that handles personnel disputes obtained by the Star, Tucson based North Star Employment and Legal Solutions concluded that its administrative investigation into the complaint filed against Nanos by Heather Lappin, who lost the election to Nanos by only 481 votes. While she was a lieutenant at the jail, which Nanos oversees, Lappin was suspended by Nanos after the sheriff's department accused her of posting a photo of her campaign's Facebook page showing deputies campaigning in uniform. The firm review followed a complaint Lappin filed against Nanos, according to the memo from Jan Lesher, the county administrator. Only one of the three key findings in summary of the report favors Nanos. Regarding the allegation of bullying, the report says a preponderance of evidence does not support a finding that Nanos acted for the purpose of creating a hostile or abusive workplace. Nanos not only used his authority as sheriff of the department resources for his own political gain, but he also violated uh, an an applicable code of conduct rules. The report found by including confidential information in a press release about the reason he placed Lieutenant Lappin on paid administrative leave for political gain. He did not maintain rules about courtesy and civility, the memo note in its third finding. Quote, the sheriff's actions were found to be inconsistent with the listed policies. However, the sheriff is not subject to those policy as an elected official, end quote, the report summary said. Asked on Thursday about the report findings summarized in the memos, Nanos referred to the Star of Lesher. Quote, this is a legal matter that was produced under attorney client privilege, and the county administrator is who you should be talking to, as the memo you have in its own written by Downtown HR, Human Resources. It is their interpretation of the report I have not seen. Nano said in a message to the Star, I have no idea what the report says, so I will refer you to Miss Lesher. He is so dirty. He is so dirty. The report stemming from Lappin's complaint is separate from the $2 million claim she filed in April of 2025 against the county and Nanos. She's the one got the lawsuit against Nanos. The claim, a prosecutor to the lawsuit alleges that Nanos interfered with Lappin's right to a fair election. Dirty, 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 dirty. It's he just does not quit. Doesn't quit. Okay. Couple more things before we get into stuff. Dad's gone live. He posted this on his X yesterday while searching for Nancy Guthrie. We found what appears to be human smuggling stop or pickup spot. The weird thing is, all the clothing appears to belong to children. Lots of child sized camp shirts, hats, and also carpet shoes that are designed to hide your footprints. Did y'all see this? Isn't that crazy? That's nuts. I've never heard of carpet shoes, I don't guess. Like, it's a bad, I mean, I like the fuzzy slippers, I guess. That's crazy to me. That like, what is going on here? Don't know. Let's hope something God, I hope something breaks soon with this case. Hopefully they're getting this is from the Brew Crew Beyond 50. Judge Brewer, I really enjoy this man. He's very to the point. I'm going to drop his link. Make sure you sub up to Judge Brewer. Does anyone know if Nanos went to Indianapolis for the Final Four game tonight between the Arizona Wildcats and Michigan? Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Like hospital workers wear over their shoes. Lots of people that cross the border use the cart. There's really, so you can't, I guess, track them. My husband has to wear them when he goes into people's houses. Yeah. They're like, you slip on over your, you can slip on over your shoes or whatever. Okay, got something. This is a very good video. I want to got some comments on it here. And make sure you sub up to Brew Crew Beyond 50. That's what Judge Brewer's channel is called. I didn't know he was on YouTube until the other day. You guys were telling me. They take pieces of carpet and they paste them under their shoes. That's, I guess there's different ways you can do it, or the booties or whatever. Yeah, I agree, Mish.
Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for being here.
1 second.
And I don't know about you all, but if you've had an opportunity to watch it as well, something to me just didn't sit right in this interview. And it wasn't the, to me, if you've had an opportunity, and I don't know about you, watch the Savannah Guthrie interview, and I don't know about you all, but if you've had an opportunity to watch it as well, something to me just didn't sit right in this interview.
I think that's with almost everybody. I want to do a poll. Savannah Oda interview. Did something not sit right with you? Yes. No. Unsure. Okay. If you will type 1, 2, or 3 in chat, 1 yes, 2 no, 3 are unsure. Did something not sit right with you in this interview? And you don't even know really what it is. You can't really put your finger on what it is. Hey, Sense, good to see you, honey. But something was wrong, right? Like something was really wrong. And I don't know. I just feel like Savannah's being used. Wow. There's not even a single no in here, or even an unsure yet. I mean, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. But I'm just surprised.
And it wasn't the emotion or the tears, but maybe by the way that she chose her words, because Savannah, she's not just a daughter in this case. She's a seasoned journalist. And when someone like that speaks publicly during an active investigation, they don't just talk. They filter and they measure. And sometimes they just say just enough without saying everything. So today, I want to talk to you about this, and more importantly, what it may actually mean for this investigation moving forward. because if you listened closely, there's more here than most people are hearing. And I'll tell you this right now, there's at least 3 moments in that interview that, from an investigative standpoint, should make you stop and look at this case differently. And we're going to walk through all of them. So
I
stay
am
with me.
glad he's
Now, from
talking
the
about
very
this.
beginning, Savannah, she shut down something immediately. Her mother did not wander off. She couldn't.
Right. Savannah says right there, oh, they absolutely did. Absolutely did. Savannah says, most days she couldn't get to the mailbox. So right there shuts it off that she couldn't have walked off.
We're talking about an 84-year-old woman. She had severe pain, limited mobility. Some days she couldn't even make it out to the mailbox.
She's an attorney, passion flower.
Now, why is this important? Because in law enforcement, wander off is one of those first boxes that you check off. And she closed that box instantly. There was no hesitation or uncertainty. She closed that box. And that tells you something. It tells you that this family, and likely investigators early on, they knew this was something else, something intentional. And
absolutely,
that's where this case starts to separate from what people think it is and what it
I like the way
it actually may be. Now, let's talk about something that didn't get enough attention, but it should have. The back door. The back door. It was propped open.
2 back doors, allegedly. 2.
And it was still open when the family arrived. Now, we'll stop right here because
how often do you, a lot of times in these crimes, you'll see a door open, right? It'll just be flapping in the wind or whatever, but you won't see doors propped open. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Thank you, love. SG sounds like she was reading. Her voice didn't sound natural, in my opinion. It seemed a little theatric, but, and this is something I want to say. My heart really breaks for Savannah. It really, really does. But it makes me wonder, did she feel like she had to perform for the network? You know what I mean? Like, did she have to say things a certain way or whatever? Was there pressure even for that?
People hear that and they move on, but you shouldn't. Nobody props a door open for no reason. That is behavior. It's intention. So what are the possibilities? Movement in and out, someone following behind, or multiple people operating at the same time. Now, layer this with another fact. Nancy, she was taken out the front door from what we gather. So why is the back door still open? That is not random. It suggests activity happened in different areas.
I think, I don't like really being judgmental with Savannah. I 100 billion% think she doesn't have anything to do with her mother's disappearance at all. Zilch, nada, none. Can't make it any clearer. but I do feel like she could be being manipulated by others in her family. And her sister and her brother-in-law took care of Nancy, and she wasn't there every day. She wasn't there every day. And she kind of goes off what they say and think. They were the ones there the night before. They were the ones that found Nancy not in her home, right? So all really Savannah has is she's just reporting the same thing as just what her sister and Tommaso said. She's essentially just reporting what her family said. And I feel like she could be, in my opinion, being manipulated. Right. Guided Comfort said, I'd have a hard time thinking that my family was involved in something like this too. She has to believe what they're telling her or she wouldn't be able to function. I get that. I get that. The thing for me is, you know, she's a very intelligent person. She's an attorney. She's talked about true crime, all of this for years. Very intelligent woman. And just the fact that we are at 63 days now, I think, and they were the last people to see Nancy. 84-year-olds don't get abducted. They were the ones that found Nancy, allegedly. You can't not think that something could be wrong here. Like, I agree not believing it or whatever, but it's not so much what everyone's saying, it's what law enforcement was doing, what they were doing over and over and over. Going to that house, forensics on that house, taking evidence bags out of that house, tables out of that house, keeping the car longer than anybody. So many things on top of all that. She reported some strange stuff, crowds outside of her home closing in. She and her sister and brother-in-law fled home at night, holding hands in a car crossing the desert. She's inclined to hyperbole. Hey, Carol. Yeah, Our Life Adventures, they're very good people. Very good people. They're in Tennessee.
Of this home. And all at the same time. And when you combine that with the timeline, that 40-minute window, you start to see something structured here. It's not chaotic and it's not a rush scene. It's
someone who's going to break in your house. They're usually maximum. They're about 8 minutes. About 8 minutes. Right? I think about how I can get a hold of my daughter. I automatically ask my other one if she's well, and yeah, I mean, Kimchi, you're absolutely right. Like, if I were like Tommaso and Annie, before I went over there, I might call a neighbor. I would definitely call my siblings and be like, hey, have you talked to mom? When's the last time you talked to mom? She didn't show up for the church function. I was just dropped her off last night. Have you not spoken to mom? And then the part about the hospital. No, we already checked the hospitals. How did you check the hospital? We already called the hospitals. That quick? Okay.
It's a very much controlled scene. And if that's true,
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry, honey. Yaya, 17 months. You little rock star, you. Thank you so much, Yaya. 17 months. I'm the best. Love you, Justin. Love you, girlfriend. Beautiful thing. Your hair's gorge. I really do appreciate you, Yaya. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much for your support, truly. And Miss Holly coming in clutch, gifting a pearl necklace. Really do appreciate you, Miss Holly. Thank you so much, my love. Good to see you, and really, really do appreciate that. Make sure you thank our girl, Miss Holly, if you receive that. Thank you, honey. Savannah is not being manipulated. She is the smartest. Naive girls never can climb on the top. No, I disagree, astrology. I disagree. This is the thing. It's like a doctor or whatever. They don't always take their own advice. You know, some doctors smoke or nurses smoke, and they don't take their own advice. Psychologists, they don't take their own advice. When you're in it, specifically, it's different. It is different. It's different. I think she's a very intelligent woman, but yeah. Guys, I'm over 70, and to be honest with you, I'm very independent. I always say I can take care of me. Good to see you, Grandma. If Nancy could barely walk, etc., why wouldn't anyone go over there to help her get dressed, or to get her friend's house Sunday? In Savannah's interview, she said, kind of like Nancy wanted to be independent. I guess they had maybe talked about, them taking care of her, but she wanted to stay in her house. So there's that. My family didn't help me with my mom, and I was a single parent at the time, and the only one with a minor child. They always said, "Update me when you find out something." I would call them first. Charlotte, I understand. I had newborn baby twins, an older, a toddler at the time, twins, toddler, and taking care of my grandmother. And I would push a double stroller and my grandmother in a wheelchair at the same time. I get it. I took care of my mama for 3 years.
then this case may be a lot more organized,
Linda.
a lot more than people are comfortable admitting. Now, Savannah also told us that her mother was taken
about that,
in her
Carlo.
pajamas with no shoes, no medicine. Now, emotionally, that hits hard.
Now think about that for a second. No shoes, no medicine or anything. This tells you that this person either didn't care about her feelings, her well-being at the time, or they already did something to her and she wouldn't need her medicine, if you know what I mean, and she wouldn't need her shoes, which is what I think. I don't think they No, Sherry. No. They absolutely would care if this was for ransom. If this was for ransom, they absolutely would care. You want to keep her alive. You want to keep her comfortable. The goal was Nancy, right? Oh, thank you, man. You're very kind, sweetie. Thank you, honey.
But analytically, it's critical because that tells you that there was no time, no preparation, and no cooperation. This wasn't a conversation. This was an action. And here's the part that really matters. If if she didn't have hearing aids, if she didn't have her
I agree, Brenda.
glasses, then this wasn't just vulnerable. She was likely disoriented and confused. I mean, she's 84. She's unable to fully process what was happening. That changes everything.
Now, I don't know. Like, I think Nancy, as long as, like, I think it would be like if someone made her get out of bed or woke her up, and it would obviously be frightening. But I think she would be able to process it maybe more than some older people. She was very sharp, but if she was unalived, I really hope it was before she even knew anything. That's my prayer. It was in bed and she just didn't know anything.
Because now you're not dealing with
But from what we understand, there's no blood in the bedroom or anything.
resistance.
So
You're dealing with someone who may not even understand what's happening to them. And that's where this case starts to feel even more controlled, even more targeted. Now we move into the physical evidence, the blood on the front porch. There are indications.
yes, Mish. Yeah. Again, to me, it's this is the thing. I wouldn't even like before I took care of my grandmother when she lived alone. Um, who was my mama? She raised me. I wouldn't even let her ride in a like an Airbnb, not an Airbnb, but uh, whatever the taxi things are. What are they called? Whatever they're called. I always say Airbnb. I don't know why I say Airbnb. Help me out, Chad. Uber. Thank you. I wouldn't even let her ride in an Uber or a Lyft or anything like that, unless there was only unless I couldn't go get her for some strange reason. I first of all, I wouldn't want her to spend her money. Number one, because seniors have it hard. Some of them do. Number one, and number two, if I'm 10 minutes away, why can't I just go get you? Um, so there's that. To me, that seemed a little weird. Not out of the ordinary, but I noted. But then driving her back and then not going inside with her. Right? Yeah, Ginger. Yeah. Hey, Cher, happy Easter, darling. Right? So, that's, they said, allegedly, sources say that she got out, the garage door opened, it closed, and he backed out, allegedly. That was it.
indication that Nancy was upright, standing, moving, possibly being assisted. And within that, there appears to be a pattern, possibly a footwear impression. Now, think about that. If she was barefoot, that pattern doesn't belong to her, which means someone else was there moving through that same space. And if that's confirmed, that's not theory anymore. It's evidence.
Sorry, I was muted. I apologize. Let me go back to that comment. Someone is saying about the Uber video, and that's what I was talking about the other day. That Uber video would be so important, so helpful, because many times whenever you are like watching an Uber video or a taxi video, you can see them almost like coming up to the door before they open it. It would tell us maybe how she walked, number one. Number two, how she got in the vehicle, right? How she got in the vehicle. But more importantly, how she got out of that vehicle, right? How she got out of that vehicle. Was it easy for her to get out of that vehicle? Was it difficult? Did she have her cane with her? I'm sure she did. Why do you think they were in there so long? They were comfortable. They knew nobody was coming. That's it. That's it. I think that's the main reason. But number two reason, I think potentially, when I say this, I don't really mean like, I think things may have not went as planned as they would have. Nothing ever goes to plan in life, right? Nothing ever goes exactly how you see it in your mind. It's just life. But I don't think this was a robbery gone wrong or anything like that, in my opinion. Nancy drove everywhere, Green, as from what I understand, except at night. Except tonight. Guys, if you're just joining us, please hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate y'all being here.
And this next part, this is where Savannah herself becomes one of the most important pieces of this case.
I do think this was certainly planned. They were there on the 11th, and it makes me wonder, were they going to do it the 11th? Were they going to do it another day? But clearly they were doing it on the weekend, always doing it on the weekend. And it was usually very early hours of Sunday morning. very early hours of Sunday morning. I heard that Tommaso didn't drive her. I heard that Tommaso didn't drive her home that night she was kidnapped. He did. He did drive her home. Yeah. Thank you, Joanne. Very kind of you, my love. Appreciate that. Really do appreciate that, my love. Justin, could you show the blood drops? Does it look like flowers from Porch Guy fell into the blood drops? Hence, the blood was there before the Porch Guy. Did Nancy try to escape and was taken back into the house? Sure. Thank you for that, Miss Joanne. Good to see you, and thank you so much for your support. Really, really do appreciate that, my dear. I don't, in my opinion, which we can, you can look on the video. We can pull it up here shortly. You can look on the video and see that there was no blood the time this guy was there. There's no blood. So, in my opinion, flowers came first and then the blood, in my opinion. It's a mystery, this one.
This is where I want
Thank you
to
so much,
slow
my dear.
down and visit this a little longer, because this is the part that most people are missing. Savannah Guthrie, she's not just a daughter in this case. She's a journalist, and not just any journalist. She's someone who has spent years around investigations, around law enforcement,
Oh,
and around high profile cases. She understands, she understands what information is sensitive, what can impact an investigation, and what should never be said publicly. And here's the key: that kind of discipline doesn't just turn off.
where did you hear that, Truth? According to Annie, she wasn't feeling well and wanted to go home early, meaning Nancy? See, 9:45 isn't early.
Even in trauma, even in grief, you don't just separate yourself from that overnight.
Genealogies takes
So when Savannah speaks,
genealogy. The thing about genealogy is it is a manual. It's a lot of manual work. It's a lot of, seriously, people behind the computer looking. I'm sure now AI probably helps in some ways, but genealogy is literally people sitting behind the computer connecting who's related and all of that. Like, it is a lot. It takes a minute.
she's navigating two roles at the same time: a daughter and a trained communicator. And those two things, they don't always align, because emotionally, she wants to say everything, but professionally, she knows that she can't.
This
So
is the thing, Forrest. I hear a lot of people talking about 10 p.m. meds, and it wouldn't surprise me if she took 10 p.m. meds, but I don't know where people are getting the 10 p.m. thing, right? And the problem is sometimes someone on the news or a creator will say, well, I heard she, took medicine at 10 p.m., but there's not really any substance for that. You know what I mean? And so I've been looking, like, where did this 10 p.m. medicine come from? It wouldn't surprise me at all that she took medicine at 10 p.m. or whatever. A lot of people take medicine before bedtime. Um, I think someone else was in the house before Porch Guy got there, in my opinion. With the case like this, there's so much speculation and straight up misinformation. There is, and that's what I don't really accept the 10 p.m. thing because I don't have a source on it, so I don't really accept that as a fact. Now, could it happen? 1,000% wouldn't surprise me. But I don't know.
What does she do? She walks a line. She gives you the truth, but she gives you the controlled truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen closely, you can feel it. Moments where she steps short, and moments where she chooses words very carefully. Moments where she says just enough, but not everything. And once you see that, you start hearing her entire interview differently.
You know where you heard that, Maurice?
Now, this is where it gets very interesting because Savannah refers to a kidnapper, singular, but everything that we've just talked about doesn't feel singular. The back door is open, the front door exit, movement and timing, control. So why say one?
Yes, sense.
Two possibilities. That's what she's been told. Or that's what she's allowed to say. And knowing her background, you can't ignore that possibility.
That's true.
Now, Savannah said she believes at least 2 ransom notes are real. Now, most people hear that and they think, okay, this is about money. But let's slow down here because real doesn't always mean truthful.
Thank you.
Sometimes it
Like
just,
I've always said, I do believe perhaps 1 or 2 of those ransom letters are from a person in this case. However, I don't think they are ransom letters, if that makes sense. I think it was something to buy time, something to throw off, but it wasn't.
means
They don't
it
wait that
came
long.
from someone connected. And that someone may not be trying to collect money.
Who's Dr. G?
They may be trying to control the investigation. Now, stay with me because here's how that works. A
that's
ransom
interesting.
note, it creates a financial narrative. Now, investigators, they look at money, debt, opportunity. But what if it's not the real motive here? Now you've shifted the entire focus, and that's misdirection. If communication
Boom.
stops after the note, you create a pause. People wait. Momentum slows, and that's misdirection. If the tone or language is crafted in a certain way, you shape the suspect profile. That's misdirection. And here's the part that people miss. It affects the public too. Not everyone is looking for ransom behavior. Instead of something else, it's powerful. So the question belongs, are these notes real communication? Or are they just a tool to buy time and stay ahead of the game? And when you put all that together with everything else, this
Yeah, Sandwich. I believe this is Annie and Tommaso's, I think that they took what Annie and Tommaso said and absolutely went with it. And you got to take you got to listen to them, but you also uh, got to see if things line up. So I think that they failed with that in the beginning,
Case, it starts
in
to
my opinion.
look very different. Now, Savannah, she said something that stuck with me. She wondered if this case happened because of her. That's survivor guilt.
Yeah, it
But
didn't happen because
it
of her.
also introduces motive, because if Nancy was targeted because of who her daughter is, then this wasn't random. And that means someone understood her vulnerability, her environment, and her connection. And that it changes everything. And at the end of the day, you can analyze every word, you can analyze every detail and every movement. But this all comes back to one truth. An 84-year-old mother was taken from her home in the middle of the night without her shoes, without her medication, and without a chance. And somewhere out there, someone knows exactly what happened. They may think that time is on their side, but I'm going to tell you, it's not. Because cases like this, they don't fade. They build, they tighten, and eventually they break.
Yes. Poll. In your opinion, do you think this happened because of who Savannah is? One, yes. Two, no. Three, unsure. Type it in chat and it'll instantly go on this poll. If they have more footage, they need to release it. They're supposedly working on that. I don't believe it was random whatsoever, but I'm not convinced it had anything to do with Savannah. I'm not either. I don't think it was random. I don't think it had anything to do with Savannah either. Miss Nancy was a very outspoken Democrat in her own right. She was. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Um, Justin, I sent you an article. If you read it, though, it says Nanos told a TV station recently that something happened weeks before. Ooh. Where did you send that to? Did you email it? I don't have anything from you. Mm. Vinny posted something. If you could, where did you send that? You'll text it again. Okay, I didn't get it. 307-228-4906. Let me look at this real quick. Take this down. Vinny Politan, Court TV. More than 2 months after the shocking disappearance of the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie, investigators are still scrambling, and the case is riddled with red flags, missteps, and chilling unknowns. From a mass suspect to ransom notes to whispers of investigative chaos, here are 10 biggest unanswered questions haunting this case right now. Number one, who is the masked person on camera? Surveillance shows someone lurking outside of her home, face covered, movements calculated, but still no ID. Someone's got to know this person. They got to know. Why is there still no suspect? An insider reveals investigators have, quote, no name on the table, end quote, even after months. 3, were the random notes real or a sick hoax? Multiple messages demand millions, but authorities haven't confirmed authenticity. 4, what happened to the Bitcoin ransom lead? It's a question I was asking the other night. The FBI reportedly sees it as, quote, best lead, end quote, but has it gone anywhere? Again, there's an article that I was telling you guys at the beginning of this. There are FBI reports that this is the best lead. Now, if that is the best lead, then does that mean you are sure whoever this uh, is one of, or the person that did this to Nancy? What does the unknown DNA reveal? Investigators found DNA at the scene that doesn't belong to Nancy or close contacts. Or close contacts, it says. A huge clue still unresolved. Did early police mistakes cost precious time? Sources say authorities initially thought she wandered off, possibly delaying a proper criminal investigation. Now, this is where I kind of take up for Sheriff Doofy, Sheriff Nanos. He had a homicide out there, and he said that they were really concerned with things in the house, and this is not typical that they have homicide out there. So I don't really know about that one. And a lot of people talk about that one, but I don't know. Why was an inexperienced detective leading the case? That's a big one. Why was someone out there that's never did homicide before? Was this a targeted attack? Some experts believe that the suspect may have a personal grievance, not a random crime. Was Nancy taken by one person or multiple? Authorities have not ruled out multiple suspects. Where is she? And is she still alive? No confirmed proof of life, no answers, just silence. Bottom line, a vulnerable elderly woman vanishes, blood is found, a masked figure is caught on camera, ransom demands surface, and still no arrest, no answers. Is this the perfect crime executed or a case botched from the start? I'm not getting your text. Anne, are you sending it to this number? Let me refresh and make sure I didn't. Oh, I think I might. I think I got it just now, maybe. No. 13 crime files. The suspicious death of Holly Dasso. Where did this come from? I guess they want me to see this. Maybe they think it could be connected or something. Let's look at this.
A heartbreaking loss for a Tucson family and a puzzle for detectives, with many pieces still missing. In this week's 13 Crime Files, we highlight the suspicious death of Holly Dasso and hear from her family about what kind of person they say the world has lost.
Me just seeing how everyone's doing. Love you.
34-year-old Holly Dasso was family-oriented, loving, and caring. Little did her family know the voicemail you just heard would be one of the last times they'd hear from her.
Holly had a great personality. Everybody loved her. She was so outgoing. She was a good mother, took care of her son, had a bright future ahead of her, just very, very outgoing and just a great person.
September 22nd, 2023, Holly's father, Steve Dasso, knew he had to take action when Holly's husband said he was unable to locate Holly.
This is 2023, so
Steve filed a missing persons report with TPD. The following evening, the Pima County Sheriff's Department was at the family's front door with the worst possible news. Holly's body had been found.
She had quite a bit of trauma to her. There was obviously, she was found near some railroad tracks. We've been trying to ascertain as to how she sustained the trauma. And it's very difficult based on where she was found and how she was found.
There is blood
Holly
passion.
was left near Marsh Station Road in a rural spot with no residents and no cameras.
it's just devastated the entire family ever since. Devastated my wife and I, especially her
This is
16-year-old son
Arizona.
that we've been taking care of ever since then. And both her brothers, of course, have been devastated by this.
Detectives have never recovered any of Holly's belongings. While it's been difficult to piece together where she was last seen, the last known photo of Holly alive appears to be a photo of her boarding a Suntran bus. And tips coming in have stayed consistent from the start.
There's been a lot of theories presented by her family, presented by her close friends, presented by acquaintances. And we've tried to investigate each one as thoroughly as possible. Some of them we've been able to vet out, and some of them we're continuing with.
Detective Flores tells me they are in the process of interviewing new acquaintances and pursuing more lab work on evidence previously collected.
So this is, you can see Chris Nanos right there. You see the name?
Process of
See the name Chris Nanos? Right there, Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Interviewing new acquaintances and pursuing more lab work on evidence previously collected. Because as of now, there has been no indication of what led up to Holly's death.
Yes, Maurice, we covered it.
She didn't have any hate or any bad feelings towards anybody in her body. She was a very loving and thoughtful person, and I just can't imagine why anybody would want to do this to her.
If you have any information about this case, please reach out to PCSD or 88 Crime. Once again, you can remain anonymous.
Ann, can you email me that? I still didn't get it. He said, I think he said last year, he said there was like 10 homicides and they were all solved, is what he said. He's a nutbag, if you ask me. Okay, moving on here. Going to go pull this up. Guys, if you're just joining us, please hit that thumbs up button. Greatly, greatly appreciate everyone being here. Want to play something here that Brian was talking about here. I'm going to go to Mr. Inton. Okay. Mods, if you will be so kind and drop Brian Inton's link. I'm going to show you this. There was a few elders unsolved that were found unalive in the desert. I remember the reporters asking Nanos that.
Out there, some of the bodies that have been discovered, and how all of that could possibly connect back to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. So I'm getting into all of it in this episode. Brian Inton investigates the Nancy Guthrie story, and we've both been at News Nation for a while, and she has a lot of interesting insight into the Nancy Guthrie case. Before I talk to Allison, I want to quickly show you, Allison went out with Bob Krieger, who is the
West Deserts, because if you notice, Tucson's
the desert's so big and it's so hot there now. But I mean, there's only, so many places they could have been. And it's like, to me, it makes me wonder if like they have no clue, even a direction that Nancy might have been placed or put or whatever, because they were going to South Tucson a minute, but there's no searches in any specific spots or
surrounded
anything.
by mountains on each direction, and once you get on essentially the backside of any of those, that's where the remoteness starts. The biggest area geographically is going out to the west, and out there is where we encounter used to encounter a lot of activity, from smuggling of all sorts, whether it be humans or drugs, things like that, to violent crimes, to body disposals. We unfortunately find a lot of bodies out there throughout the year, but specifically in the summer ones when people are crossing and they don't know, what to expect of the hot deserts. So it's just a ton of stuff going on out there, and it's just so vast. And a lot of times,
I can't imagine. Yeah, because you think about people coming from like Mexico and stuff, and the bodies out in the desert. It wouldn't last long out in the desert being that hot. My goodness.
can't find what you're looking for, or even if you have very specific locations and it takes time. And that's really what we're going to do today, just kind of go out there and get a feel for it, and specifically go to some areas that I have firsthand experience with where crimes have occurred, bodies have been found, and things like that. Some of these roads, when I used to work out here, they were like super highways for
Oh, he wouldn't even return United Cajun Navy's
criminal activity.
call.
Yeah,
Whether it be people or drugs.
just take a look around and see where we're going.
I know.
We're out here in the desert.
Yeah, I would too, Scorpio. Whenever you go to like New Orleans, I mean, even here of the summer, it's so freaking humid you can't breathe.
And the trees are like higher than you are. And then there's a little path behind you. Here's where we drove the car to. And
Yes,
they're
last
over my
week,
head and over
Aaron.
Bob's head.
We are technically on Saguaro National Monument, but it is what it is. You see the trees. We're starting to get into hilly areas, all kinds of brush that's easily, you can easily hide in, leave things at, get out of sight very, very quickly. And right now we're only, probably less than a half mile from the main road. This little track here will take you.
Why am I not getting text? Let me make sure I'm not getting it on my phone here. Because y'all say y'all are texting me. I'm not getting anything. 1 second. I'm not getting any text. 307-228-4906. If y'all could email me, mods, if you would. Okay, here's this article. Okay, guys, I want to we'll come straight back to this in just a second, but I want to go to this article because there might be something new in it that someone was saying.
The Valley Sports Scene.
Here, this came out today, by the way. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, day 63, latest update. Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old mother. Okay, Today's Show host, gone for 2 months. Okay, let's see. Is there 1 second? Let me see what this is.
I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum. As day 60 comes to a close, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI are still searching for the mother of Today's Show anchor, Savannah Guthrie. We've seen a media frenzy in Tucson, ransom letters fueling national concern, and a recall effort against the sheriff. As for Nancy Guthrie, we haven't seen proof of life. Tucked away at the base of the Santa Catalina Mountains, the foothills are known for their scenic desert beauty north of Tucson. Beneath the open sky is where 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie lived alone on the quiet, dark stretch of North Camino Escalante. It's a neighborhood without a streetlight, where luminance only comes from the stars above. But in the early morning hours of February 1st, 2026, a masked man armed with a holstered handgun tampers with the doorbell camera. He stands roughly 5'9" with an average build, wearing a distinctive black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack.
Do you know where?
The FBI recovered these videos from deep within Google's back-end systems. The only known glimpse of the man who vanished into the darkness.
Hey,
Suspect in Nancy's disappearance.
We are following a news alert out of southern Arizona.
And Elizabeth, do you know where it is in that article, or is it in the video? The new information. My daughter's grandparents go to the Arizona in the winter months and come back. Yeah, snowbirds. Yeah, I heard there is possible footprints in the blood. Is that true? It's very possible. Florida. Okay. If Ann Elizabeth is in here, please let me know that, Ann. Okay.
Arizona on this Monday morning, the mother of a national TV host is reported missing.
Local and national media rushed to the Pima County Sheriff's Department for answers.
Just moments ago, the Pima County Sheriff's Department confirmed they believe she may have been abducted.
According to investigators, the digital trail begins on the night of January 31st. Nancy had just enjoyed dinner at her daughter Annie's house. After taking an Uber earlier that evening, her son-in-law drove her home just before 10 p.m. She went inside through the garage, the last time she was seen. The next 4 hours are a mystery until 1:47 a.m. when the doorbell camera was disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., the camera's sensors detected movement, but without a subscription, there was no recording of what the system captured until the FBI obtained the data. 16 minutes later,
Okay.
the final clue.
Thank you, Ann.
Nancy's pacemaker disconnected from her phone. For an 84-year-old who relies on daily heart medication and has difficulty walking, law enforcement's urgent search intensified. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos quickly came under scrutiny.
I believe it's I believe it's more walkie-talkie than it is like a camera jammer. I don't believe in the camera jam thing at all, whatsoever.
5 days into the search.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. He's just happy as a clam.
Search intensified. Pima County Sheriff
Loving
Chris
the
Nanos
camera.
quickly came under scrutiny. 5 days into the search, reporters pressed for new information, asking if investigators were looking at Nancy's own family.
Hey, Abigail. I did a quick live, and so most people didn't get notifications.
But he's still a suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things and think as cops.
Good to
Does
be a
that mean
scanner.
we have a prime suspect? No.
As the FBI joined the investigation, Nancy's property became a recurring crime scene that first week, released and then resealed numerous times. During windows of access, our own crews walked up to see blood spots on the front
Wow.
porch, later confirmed.
Guys, look at this. Very interesting. Fox 10. Fox 10 is, oh, I need to take that off. Fox 10 is reporting something very interesting. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told KOLD in Tucson that investigators now believe something may have happened weeks before Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Catalina Foothills home. That's interesting. That's interesting. Which, you know, I always say that the minutes, hours, days, weeks leading up to someone's disappearance is, you know, something usually happens. You don't just usually just go in and unalive someone. But again, this is coming from Sheriff Doofy, so, you know. But look whose mouth it came out of. That's what I'm saying, Connie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if her floodlights were damaged on an earlier day. Not that there's any reports on that. I just heard that if you call the FBI with a tip, make sure you call back as many times as you have to, because sometimes you will get dismissed. Don't let them dismiss you. I mean, if you have a legitimate tip, yes, but if it's like, you know, this person said that this person said that this person said, you know, then it might be. That's interesting. Let me go to KOLD real quick. KOLD. They were the ones that got one of the letters. The things. Let's see here. Let me look at this. this? When did this come out? Give me 2 seconds, y'all. Be right. Let's look at this real quick.
And there's no arrest is troubling.
It's been 60 days since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Catalina Foothills home. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie was last seen outside of her home on January 31st and was reported missing the next day.
The investigation into her disappearance is ongoing. 13 News reporter Peyton May joining us live outside of her Catalina Foothills
I think so
home
too.
now.
Peyton, where does this investigation?
I mean, this is the thing. Like, I figured once this guy's face was out here and the way that he walked and all that, I figured that it had been reported within a day maximum.
Stand today.
I think that they got to have something.
Well, after
Come
2
on
months
now.
of combing through leads, investigators still haven't announced any major breakthroughs in this case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano says they're continuing to search through digital and forensic evidence, but that process takes time. In the 2 months since Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, the memorial outside of her home has grown, covered with yellow ribbons and flowers from those desperate to find her. But as the investigation runs cold, those yellow ribbons symbolizing hope have started to fade. With no motives, suspects, or arrests made in the last 60 days, many are concerned that investigators are stuck without a lead. A worried Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano says isn't the case.
We continue to plod along. I know that nobody wants to hear that they want it fast. I do too. But sometimes you have to put aside expediency for doing the job right. And sometimes things aren't in our control.
I still think that they'll be back at maybe one of those houses.
He says investigators are
They
still
were
reviewing
searching.
digital and forensic evidence. Gloves recovered near Guthrie's home and blood found on the porch tested positive for DNA, which Nano says is also being tested at labs across the country. Former FBI agent Scott Augenbaum says that process can take a while, but means authorities are likely still exploring leads.
Sometimes these crimes take a long time. And I know it's very difficult to tell people to be patient. But at this time, law enforcement has a job to do, and we need to let them do their job.
He says he's worked on several cases with a clear suspect, but couldn't publicize that information in fear of jeopardizing the case.
There's a lot of investigation that's going on,
Hold on, what?
behind the scenes. These crimes.
For
What?
DNA, which Nano says is also being tested at labs across the country. Former FBI agent Scott Augenbaum says that process can take a while, but means authorities are likely still exploring leads.
Sometimes these crimes take a long time. And I know it's very difficult to tell people to be patient. But at this time, law enforcement has a job to do, and we need to let them do their job.
He says he's worked on several cases with a clear suspect, but couldn't publicize that information in fear of jeopardizing the case.
Yep. Yeah. And guys, just because they're telling us they have no suspect doesn't mean they have no suspect.
There's a lot of investigation that's going on behind the scenes, and we really don't know what is going on. And if law enforcement has a really good suspect at this time, they're not going to be able to tell the public.
That's why Augenbaum says investigators could be closer than we think to solving this case and encourages the public to remain patient. As Sheriff Nanos faces increased scrutiny over his handling of the case, he's asked that the public refocus their efforts too.
What I don't want is I don't want this to be about press conferences or about the sheriff. I just really
You
want
are so full of course you don't want it about you, you piece of garbage. Of course you don't want it about you. Don't talk about don't give criticism to you, right? Or the sheriff's department of not having homicide and not working with the FBI, allegedly. Don't want it to be about the sheriff.
this to be about this case. Our focus, my team's focus, the FBI's focus is to solve this case. And we're getting there.
What the hell's that beep?
The Guthrie family continues to ask for help and is offering a $1 million reward for any information regarding Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. If you do know anything, please don't hesitate to call 911 or 88-CRIME. Reporting live in the Catalina Foothills, Peyton May, 13.
Do you guys think they know more or don't? I don't know. I feel like they know more. I do. But I could be wrong. I hope they know more. I really, really hope they do. I do. I think they'll be back at one of those houses. Maybe all three of them. I don't know. But certainly, I would say one of them. Oops. Okay, here we go.
100 miles south and get you into Mexico if you want. In my time with the Sheriff's Department, I supervised our border crime unit for almost 5 years. And we basically lived in this area of the county.
They have to,
from the start of our shift to the end of our shift, we would be out here looking for all the
and when I say they, I mean the FBI.
Crime, the criminal activity that goes along with just being this close to the border. This unfortunately is an area where bodies have been found. We've had multiple homicide victims, bodies dumped in the area. Specifically, we had a serial killer. His name was Christopher Clements. He kidnapped and killed Isabel Sellis. Bodies were recovered.
If Nancy had some mobility issues, did she go out and buy groceries, or did she get them for her, or did she get them online besides Amazon? When was the last time? Good question, Tucson girl. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, like elderly, they'll go out and they'll take like the electric wheelchair or their little mobile thing and go to the grocery store. I feel there is more video footage that we haven't seen yet. I agree. Exactly, widow. Exactly. So awful hearing about the bodies, I guess. Yeah. In other words, that could have went unsaid. Yeah. I don't think she could cook too much. I don't know.
Within, 9 iron of where we are now. Just north of here, we've had battling rival gang members getting shootouts. So we stumbled upon a multiple homicide victim scene one day. And, there were 3 or 4 bodies from what I remember just off the roadway.
Would somebody have, at least with the serial killer, were the kills of these individuals, these victims, was it in Tucson and then brought out here? Is that how it worked?
I don't know exactly where they were killed at, but the crimes did happen within the metro area of Tucson, specifically in the city limits. And then, yes, the victims were brought out here and their bodies were left out here. Both of them very close to each other as well. Too. And anecdotally, I could think of 3 or 4 others, bodies that were victims of violent crimes that were left out here as well. It looks like you can see, but realistically, there could be someone 10 feet that way. This small brush, these shrubs, they do a great job of hiding everything. This is a very open area, but black is literally the worst color to wear in the desert because it sticks out so much.
Look at it out there.
Just get up in some of these treeless areas.
I mean, that is like...
And I don't know if you can see me right now, but
like,
I can see you perfectly, and you're probably 25 feet away from me.
I mean, look at that. And she zoomed in as well. It's, anywhere you go when someone goes missing, they all have their own unique struggles. It doesn't matter like where you go, pretty much. It's hard to find someone.
Wow. We haven't seen anyone in the last 45 minutes.
You've seen the terrain, you've seen the geography. Most people would say we're in the middle of nowhere, but at the exact same time, within a half hour, I could be at Broadway and Stone in the center of metropolitan downtown Tucson. That's how quickly you can get away or just sort of disappear in this environment.
Super interesting to get that perspective, Allison, and I want to ask you about it. But first, I also
That's a good question. Who cleaned Nancy's house and kept it immaculate? As they keep saying, the woman wasn't mopping floors unless she had a riding floor cleaner like Walmart uses, right? I would think she probably had, I mean, she has gardeners and stuff, so I would think that she probably had someone come in and clean.
want to tell people about your book because Allison is an amazing journalist and also just wrote a book, which is so cool. So tell me a little bit about it.
So my book, I will hold it up for all of you guys, is Murder and Media. And it's really a story about what it's like to be an investigative journalist and to go behind the scenes. And in this book, I tell stories I never told before. They didn't go on TV. I didn't write about them in newspapers or magazines. I've been a writer a long time. And I really give you a behind the scenes look at like stories like the Robert Blake story or stories like the Holly Bobo story. And there's things that happened long before the trial, right after somebody was abducted. You know, it's kind of the same situation that we're dealing with here behind the scenes, you know, trying to find out information about the Nancy Guthrie case and what has happened to her.
And Allison, again, I'm not just saying this, she's amazing. She's also an attorney. She scoots herself right into situations where we're not supposed to be a lot, where we end up getting really good scoops. So definitely check out her book and I'm also just so proud of you also, Allison. I mean, I know how much work and time and heart and soul you put into the book on top of all the other stories we've been working on. So I hope people will check it out.
Well, thank Brian for writing the foreword.
Yes, that was cool. That was a first for me too. So that was super cool. But back to the, you spent the day with Bob in the desert. What stood out to you?
Well, the reason we were in the desert is because you and I have been discussing for a while. Wow.
The mountains aren't that far from there. Cleaning services do background checks or should. Yeah, Joe, but you never know if you get someone off I'm sure the cleaner's fine. I would think it would be more usually cleaning. It's usually cleaning ladies.
Did they do the right search? There were so many problems at the beginning of this investigation. Should they have been searching out in the desert where, God forbid, Nancy, might have been dumped or her remains? And it turns out that theory isn't really a working one because they did check around Nancy Guthrie's house, which would be the only place you'd probably find her. And because out in the desert, it is in the middle of nowhere. It's only about 45 minutes outside of Tucson, which is a regular city, small, but a regular city. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And you can't see anything. And in past, people have dumped other, people who have passed away or that they've been murdered. There's a lot of crime that goes on out there in the desert. So it was really interesting. I mean, first to find out that the theory wasn't right. Something that you and I have been talking about, how come they weren't out there in the desert?
So when you saw it for yourself, you realized it would be very different.
I don't feel it could be Pam. I truly don't feel like this person right here is. I don't feel like he's the main guy, if that makes sense. I mean, he might be, but to me, this guy he doesn't walk up in any aggressive manner. Like you would think your adrenaline would be pumping and you would be moving quick and you would knock that camera off. And that's just not the feeling I get. What about the mixed DNA? They, send it off, but it takes time to if you don't got if it's just partial DNA. Someone did say that they thought that they might have been sibling disagreements. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, a lot of people's said a lot. There's even people reported that Nancy may have not even been a fan of Tommaso at times, but sometimes you're not a fan of your son-in-law, maybe.
And also Bob told me. Bob said. Bob had worked out there. You guys, he had been a SWAT commander, and they had worked out there. They'd worked out there with Border Patrol. They always had a Border Patrol guy with them, And he said it's impossible unless you are looking for someone specifically in a specific area and you know some sort of facts about why they're in that specific area. It's impossible to find anyone. And you could see it in the video we shot that Bob walked about like several feet away from me, maybe 20, 17, and I couldn't see him. But and then the road, it's the road actually that you take to Mexico, and it's also a road that people trying to get out of Mexico and come here take to come in illegally. So
I don't think it's him. True.
It's just so dry. He actually said that if you dropped me there, that in 3 hours I'd probably be dead.
Really? Just because
but
it's
he
so
doesn't
hot
know
and
me
dry.
that way.
Yeah, you are a survivor, but still, you're also not
No.
a desert woman. Neither of us are very familiar with.
I don't know if it was paperwork though. Was it, Shell? I also find them removing paperwork odd, maybe not wanting loans or bank statements. I just know that they took boxes out. I don't know what was in the boxes. I thought, could be food even, because you don't want, things to perish. But if it wasn't food, I would think that would be a little weird.
No, well, I'm not a desert woman. It's too hot.
Yeah.
And there's no water anywhere.
Yeah.
But we were out there in the middle of nowhere, 45 minutes on a gravel road that is not easy, like on your tush or anything else.
Yeah.
We were going up and down and up and down, and he was going super slow because I was the passenger. And I was like, oh my gosh. Even when I got out, it was difficult to walk. And then in addition to the fact that you can't drive it very well, it's a horrible road, but off to the sides are like a million different kinds of plants. And he goes, everything out here is trying to kill you. And there's the one that you just brush by that shoots daggers into you that we learned about. There's all these cacti.
Oh, thank you, Miss Dolores. Thank you, Lovey. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, darling. Very kind of you. Love you, my family. We love you, Miss Dolores. Good to see you, honey. Thank you so much for your support. I'm the same way. I don't think the porch guy is the main person in this abduction. It like the FBI will be doing financial forensics. You damn right they will be. You damn right. This is financial or someone couldn't stand Nancy. It's one of the two. Like she either knew information, someone was really angry at her, or it's financially related. And I don't see the financial being, in my opinion, inheriting something. A lot of people talk about, well, maybe she's going to inherit, that they would inherit the house or something like that. No, I don't think it's anything like that because that takes a lot of time. I think it could be, you owed me money and you're not paying me the money or something to that effect. There's, I don't know. It's, yeah. Annie Guthrie has at least 2 books, Creative Wired. Yes. And The Dark Good, the jewelry actually looks really nice. The other creepy. Her jewelry is very pretty. The poetry I don't get at all. And really, I don't get the music either. I don't get Tommaso's music either. I thought I liked all music. I guess I don't.
There's all kinds of other things. Everything seems to have a spike on it.
I'm glad you said cacti plural because a few of you watching, they gave me a hard time. I think I said cactuses one day. But you're right. I mean, even around Nancy's house, we were back behind Nancy's house. And I'm from Florida. You're from LA.
I mean, the thing about all of it is what I just cannot get over and wrap my mind around is she's 84 years old. And I say it all the time, statistically, 84, you're not going to live another year, statistically, because you've already outlived the average life. Who couldn't wait? Who couldn't wait? And why?
I'm used to heat. I'm used to, like, Florida, it's extreme.
Like, you're at 84 years old, you're probably going to not live a whole lot longer, and you probably die of natural causes. She's already got a pacemaker and heart issues and all that. So why? Personal, not financial. And Bigfoot, that's the thing. I mean, statistically is what I'm saying. She could live another 20 years. She could live another 20 years. Janice, this feels more immediate. It depends on what you say by immediate, right? Because they were there. This was obviously planned if they were there the 11th, right? This is someone who this was premeditated. They had time to think about this, to plan this and all that. Life insurance. I mean, the only thing that I could think about, like, is if there's like life insurance or anything like that, if it was some special written thing in her plan that if she would be like incompetent or abducted, or not be able to make financial decisions of her own in a certain period of time, whether that's a week, a month, 6 months, that's the only way I could think of, them getting around this. Life insurance, you can collect life insurance in the case of a kid. I mean, it's snowing there, Casey. Oh my God. Yes, to remove the poll, click the 3 dots above there, and it'll say dismiss. So
times, but it's not dry like this. There's a lot of shade, there's trees, there's water. Here it really is it has a different feel to it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, there were these cacti, and it's kind of interesting because the cacti and the cactus have like arms.
Yeah,
really cool. And they're kind of cool. It takes about 200 years to grow them, but they're not the worst thing in the desert. I am from an area that used to be a desert. So it is dry, but this area apparently, like in the 1800s, 1890s, had more water. But right now it's dry as can be, dangerous, but very easy to get rid of someone. So that was why I was interested in it, why you were interested in it, because we're like, well, if they're on their way to Mexico, they could, and God forbid that Nancy passed away following her abduction, that this would have been a perfect place. And he kind of illustrated that for me by going, because I said, it looks kind of flat. I don't know. I would see something from the road. And he walked away, like I said, 17 feet, couldn't see him. And he was wearing a black shirt, which apparently is like very easier to spot in the desert. The other thing too was that there's an awful lot of crime in this area. So if somebody was dropped there and they are alive, a lot of bad things could happen to you, even just with human beings. There's human smuggling, there's drug trafficking. It's just, to say it's vast is an understatement. I mean, I just kept looking and looking, and it goes on and on. And we were only
Black Skies, good
about
to
a
see you,
mile
baby.
and a half off of the main road. You could go 2-3 miles, and he said, it's just, you never know what you're going to find, but you can't see anything. You can't see anything from the side of the road. So it was just kind of super devastating. But I did realize.
But this is the thing, like, statistically doesn't mean 100% of the time, not even close, but statistically, bodies are within 25 miles, and 25 miles is really a long ways statistically. Now, you can have outliers like Letitia Stout, the way she took Gannon Stout, to different states. And you're more likely to get caught. Like, you're more likely there's more cameras on you and all of that. So it makes me wonder, was it, did they take her far? Or is she really, really close? There's only a certain amount of ways you can dispose of someone as well, right? Like, burial, sometimes they are just disposed of, tossed along a road. It's generally always close to a road system. You're usually pretty close to a road system because they got to get a car there.
That in terms of, any kind of criticism that has gone towards the investigation, that the only chance really of finding Nancy's remains initially was around that neighborhood. And that's kind of, as Bob said, what happened during the first few days of the search.
So you've been here like me since the beginning. We left, but it's been 2 months now, which is hard to wrap your mind around. Are you? What are your feelings right now? I mean, I feel sad for Savannah, obviously, and for the family. I didn't think it would take this long when we first got here. The first couple, I really didn't think we'd be sitting here 2 months later.
I feel terrible for that family, and I think there were missed opportunities, and I think that makes me feel even worse. Because the more we dig into this and the more we investigate and the more we talk to people, we find out that in those first 24 hours were the most
Nobody
critical,
shame anybody for their
that there were
opinions.
problems in terms of
It is.
assumptions that were made, investigative assumptions that were made, that the area was, as we all know, and we've reported this, they took down the crime scene tape before the FBI arrived. So maybe that becomes a chain of custody issue where people could have come and gone. No matter what you say, it leaves an opening for a defense attorney. You can say nobody came or went, but footprints are gone because we were walking around there, and other people, and as famously the pizza delivery.
You're talking about early on when they cleared the scene quickly.
So I feel that if I feel particularly bad for the family because it does seem that mistakes were made. I'm sure that's true in every investigation, but these were of such a nature that they garnered more attention
It's
than
gotta
the
be
focus
someone
being
pretty
on
close.
Nancy and this missing woman.
It's
And I found it really
It's
troubling.
got to be someone very, very close. I mean, how do you get in this? How do you get in this house? And then, this is the thing though that makes me think that maybe it's sometimes not. Like, they were out there the 11th, right? They were out there the 11th. So what were they doing out there the 11th? They came to the front door on the 11th. So did they know the house that well? Like, if you already know the house, why are you there the 11th? You know what I mean? Like, if you already know the house, aren't you going to just go in the house? What's going on? Sorry to see. What's wrong with Sherry? Someone that knew the layout of the house and a routine. They also know she had a pacemaker. Someone very close to her, in my feeling. I think it's someone close. I think it's someone that. I think it's someone that. I mean, you. There's just no way that it's not someone that doesn't know her. Again, who would just go uh, off an 84-year-old? It just doesn't happen.
And it feels really sad here now.
Yeah.
Because I do believe, based on the people we've talked to, that ultimately, in all of our different sources, and Lord knows we've talked to a lot of people.
Yeah, we have.
You know, and we've been in a lot of places. I mean, I spent yesterday in the desert all day.
I don't
And
know,
Brian
Carol.
has done worse.
Yeah. We've been all over.
So, yeah, we have been all over. But I feel badly that, you know, that she's missing like this. I think it will ultimately be solved. But
Someone said Sherry doesn't have a moral compass. That's not true. Don't say anybody has a moral compass or doesn't have a
I
moral compass.
think,
That's not right.
as we all have talked
Not
about,
for us to judge.
I have elderly parents. I think about, you can't help but empathize and think about the horror if somebody took one of them. Whether they're cognizant and have no dementia, or even worse, if they have dementia, the terror of it all. And listening to Savannah talk about it on the Today Show
You can
during her
block each
interview,
other. Yeah, so you don't see them.
I felt, and maybe I'm reading into it, but I felt some frustration that initially
They
she
don't.
hadn't really felt listened to. Because when somebody elderly who's your parent and your family goes missing or has a problem, the family knows. We know what's wrong with our parents. We don't go to a cocktail party and discuss it. But if the police are asking, you can give them all the information that they need, especially because Nancy Guthrie was so well cared for by her family. She had a daughter right nearby, a son-in-law, and she had, and visitors all the time, lots of friends, and a really good place in this community. So
Could be luck,
yeah, it
though.
makes me kind of sad. And the more we look into this investigation, I get more and more upset.
Yeah, and I think
I don't think it's that,
she said
Stacey,
in her
my
interview,
opinion.
Savannah, that they were trying to say initially,
Same liberty.
she didn't just walk off. She can't even walk to the mailbox most of the time. And you could sense a little bit of frustration, I think, and that lined up with what we heard from our source, who you guys saw the interview with, who we covered.
Well, that's the one of the number one things that gets me, Tucson girl. I'm still stumped by the care perps took to disable cameras. By how did they know she didn't have a house alarm? Well, not only how did they know she didn't have a house alarm, how did they know that the inside of the cameras weren't recording, but the outside camera might? But it didn't have a subscription either, but they took that camera. Right? So, I'm not sure that they will ever find her body with all the theories running around they're doing. I believe that the family may not want the whole story released. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. They may never find her. They may never. I hope I'm wrong. Justin, on Chris McDonough's, they were saying that on the 11th, the 25 were part of Wiccan, the middle and end of their special days, allegedly. Not in my opinion, just a guest on TR. Okay, she must have had a team of people. How did they even know that she was alone and didn't have someone staying over? Well, allegedly, Amber, I agree. This makes me think they watched her for a while or knew her. You know what's very uncomfortable for me is 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. How did he even know that she was alone? And oh, my phone, it's on voice to text. Sorry. Um, and didn't have someone saying over this makes me think that they watched for a while or knew her. Yes, I do believe that what makes me uncomfortable is again, out of all days, how often did Nancy go over to Tommaso's and Annie's house? Um, her being driven back, was it a common thing to be driven back by just Tommaso? Um, how to me it was kind of late that she came back. She had uh, the next day she had church and all that, so it's just very weird. An elderly woman living alone with no home security and left doors unlocked. Definitely an inside job. Is something going on? And I do think A has very dark poetry in the music. I do too. And one thing that's still very strange to me is Derek. Derek, the guy that contacted Tommaso and Annie. He's the one that called. There's a lot of weird things about that. Unfortunately, I think I had to do. I think it had to do with Savannah. You think so? No. Someone who had beef with her. No, I don't think so. In my opinion, I just don't think so. Big. I read some of her poetry and it did make sense. It doesn't. The poetry is whack. I'm sorry. The poetry that she did was, in my opinion, I mean, poetry is what you can get from it. But, when someone says 3 random words or, that doesn't even make sense, it just, like I always say, baked beans, douche, and a lawn chair. Like, what does that mean? What does it mean? It just doesn't mean anything. I don't know. She might have gotten home care. I mean, how lucky can a peep get? Doors unlocked, no home security, no recording from cameras. Exactly. Well, and then this, Paul. Think of this, Paula. On top of that, no homicide, no real homicide detective. And then sheriff not allegedly working with the FBI for 3 weeks. All right. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love poetry, right? But some of it I just don't get. I just don't understand some of the poetry. No street lights, pitch black dark. I mean, it was like the perfect storm. Hello, that's a certain poetry. Those 3 words, things I can't remember the word they call it now. Yeah, it's weird to me. Okay. Adult protection services, were they already assigned to her often for welfare checks? I don't know. I don't know. Do we know if Nancy spent every Saturday that's what I was just asking, if so the perps knew this. And if you talk to the neighbors Saturday evening when they were walking their dog, that's when there was a strange car a couple houses down. All 3 kids knew that N is living without paid home security and life alert. Who can explain this? Well, I mean, I don't know. Hey, Michelle, good to see you, love. Apparently, it's customary for missing persons alert to prompt DCF. I think it can be, but I don't know if they're going to be there that soon. Are they? Wouldn't you contact like the family, not the person missing? If she had a home care worker, why would Adult Protective Services be there unless home care worker called? I mean, anyone can call, I guess, but woman living in her house without any security. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. But that's weird about the day before. What was the day before? The home security or the DC or the adult protection, it was the day after, wasn't it? When it's an elderly Silver Alert DCF is notified. I heard it from law enforcement. Okay. I was just thinking, like, I mean, maybe they just put a card there. I don't know. Maybe we're reading too much into it. I feel as if there must have been work being done because the level of items that were inconsistently working makes me think that she could have been having some rewiring done. They had just finished it, Janice. I've got the permit and stuff on it, and she had gotten that permit months ago. She had gotten the permit in the end of I think it was like September or something of 2025. Hey, Leisha, good to see you, hon. In the beginning, I remember someone saying she had the cameras to look and watch wildlife, not security, and that's why they didn't pay for a subscription. Does anyone else remember that? I didn't hear that, but that would be, I mean, I don't believe that for a second. Got it for wildlife? But that would be very weird if someone, I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch she didn't fall or pass out or have a problem with pacemaker, and being in the house like that out there, I would if it was my mom. I mean, if she was, you heard that too, Scorpio. Just thinking, I believe Tommaso teaches AP classes in biology. Yes, he does. With additional add-ons in crime scenes. I don't know about that part. Classroom roster could be compared to employees list of folks helping build nearby homes. He does teach biology at a private school. If true crime, we put everything on yeah, you have to put everything on the table. She said that on Facebook about the cameras for wildlife. Who did? Who's she? I remember she did use for wildlife, but not sure only reason. I mean, wait, explain the cameras inside then. Why not the cameras inside? It just doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Remember, she had camera on the back and on the roof, so that might be where the wildlife thing came in. Nest came for protection, in my opinion. I mean, you don't use a Ring or a Nest doorbell camera for wildlife. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe the ones like on the roof or something like that. But I don't know. That's just a little weird. I think Annie and Tommaso and their social circle are in the jackpot. Luke also. Sometimes the elderly refuse cameras, etc. As their family, you can't force them. Yeah, there was cameras inside, and they didn't have a subscription. They supposedly looped, and when they looped, it didn't record, but they said that it showed the police arriving there in those cameras. He never saw. Well, yeah, they had to go. They went back and like they freaking missed it. It looked like it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Guys, I will be back here in just a little bit. We're going to be talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan. It's 8:46 now. I have to go do something. I'll be back in about 30 minutes. I'm going to pop it up. Nancy had Facebook post 2021 asking for a good camera for wildlife, and someone posted a Nest doorbell camera, and she liked that. I mean, it might be a good wildlife camera, but you don't put it at your doorbell. You know, I mean, you can't see wildlife from the way like her porch is inside. You know what I mean? I must have missed something. Mousy. I think I saw one thing. Jerry's fine. Everyone's free to their opinions. Nobody should be shamed for their opinions or really talked down upon. You know, so yeah. All right, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. Much love, everyone. God bless. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll be back about 30 minutes. We'll be talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan. Love you guys. Bye-bye.